Healing is more than a hashtag.
Healing is more than a journey, it's a lifestyle.
Healing is prioritizing your well-being.
Healing is about taking the journey within.
Healing is growing through our painful moments.
Healing is gratitude for another beautiful day.
Hey, how we doing?
Hey,
All right, here we go.
we're here.
We are live. This is episode 1 of More Than a Hashtag podcast. We're so happy to be here. This has been a long time coming, and it's a beautiful thing to see something that was a thought actually come to fruition, right, in real life.
Amen.
We had it in one realm, and now it's in the physical realm. So we're good. Blessings, peace, shalom, and all that to everybody tuned in. My name is Steph Jones, also known as Lilac Calandra. I'm a certified mindfulness life coach, and I love to see people do well, right? That's the goal. And that's the life mission, to make sure that people are authentically healing, hence the name of our podcast. Right? We're going to get into all that. You're meeting us. You're going to see who the co-hosts are and our personalities and what we're going to bring to this platform and to where we are and why we chose to emphasize healing in this day and age, right? Everyone has seen the hashtag and things like that. So we want to really take you on a journey that we've been on, right? We're not hypocritical healers. We've actually been through this process. So we're going to talk about some real things and just continue healing. Like we're on the journey. It's continual. So I'm gonna pass it over to my other two lovely co-hosts. Mona, do you want to go ahead and let the people know who you are?
I will. How's everybody doing today? I am Shamonica Slaughter, but you can call me Mona. That's what I like to be called, Mona. I am a domestic violence advocate, mental health worker. I'm trying to get into public speaking. That's been my passion for a long time. I'm getting into that. So just a little bit about me. I'm a mom, 3 kids. Yes. I just entered the 40s club. My birthday was last month. Yes. So I'm excited about that. I have a son and 2 daughters and a cat. So I basically have 4 children because it's just like another cat. So I'm a woman of God first and foremost. I was so glad that Steph has included me on this journey. We and her talked about it for a couple times, and now to see it here, it's just amazing that we all can share our journeys of healing and how we overcame it and just how we're there. So a little quick story about me. I have my master's degree in criminal justice. I have a minor in human resource management. I am a domestic violence advocate. I'm a 14-year survivor of domestic violence. Thank God. He kept me here. And so my mission is to show women that you can have life after domestic violence. It can be a beautiful life. You don't have to be stuck in that stigma of that happening to you. You can overcome it. I talk a lot of the different things regarding mental health, sexual abuse, just all different type of abuse. I have an avenue in all of that and everything. I have a nonprofit. It's called Help Me Help You, and it's designed for women and men. I don't have a big men audience, but it's designed for women. I have different avenues over the years of people that have helped me. I have a good connection with them that I can help you, if you're going through that situation, if you're trying to get out of it and everything. So my goal is I really want to be a motivational speaker. I want to get out there. And I'm currently writing my book. I'm excited about that. And so I'm just here for this journey with these 2 beautiful women. We're going to give you guys a good time and a good show. And so that's me.
Awesome. Lakeisha.
Hey there. So, shout out to you, Mona. Beautiful. I'm just, first and foremost, just in a spirit of gratitude for this time, this day, and just to be in the presence of these 2 beautiful ladies. So, my name is Lakeisha J. Rigg. I am a mental health advocate, a career coach. I do own a training and coaching company, LJR Training and Coaching. I am an educator, formerly a teacher educator, K-12 college instructor as well, and just really someone who likes to educate people on the topics of mental health so that we can collectively care for ourselves. So I'm very big into self-care, taking care of ourselves as much as many of us like to take care of others. And so quite a few hats that I wear, but I'm just excited to be on this journey of healing with all of you, with my sisters. And it is a journey because though we have been healing, it's an ongoing thing. So we're in it with you. So that's me in a nutshell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's us. We're the three co-hosts of this podcast. And like we said, this is episode 1, right? We're kicking it off. And the name of our podcast is More Than a Hashtag. That could go in so many different directions. So I think it's just good for us to get into conversation of why we named it that, right? You've met us, you see who we are. Just kind of giving that explanation of why we named it More Than a Hashtag. You know, we see what healing is. We know that it's a high trend. It sounds popular. It sounds cool. It sounds good to say, oh, I'm healing, you know, in my healing season and things like that, right? But then on the flip side, as many times as you hear people say it, you also notice that people really, as much healing as people say they're doing, we notice that a lot of people really aren't healed. So, you know, hashtags are everywhere. You see hashtags here, hashtags there. And it's like you want to support a cause. You want to gather all this, you know, support. You put a hashtag. But healing, the actual act of healing, like the hurtful, painful, crying, oh, I'm getting pruned, I'm getting cut, I'm getting sanded down, I'm getting chiseled down. That journey is very nasty. And that journey is unappealing. It's unattractive. It's not something that you broadcast. You don't put that on IG, right? You don't make a TikTok about that because you are weeping and you are crying. You're angry, right? You're sad. All these feelings when you go through the real process of healing, when that thing really hits you and you're like, oh, wow. So it has to be more than a hashtag, right? Because like I said, you get pruned and you get cut. And pruning is beautiful. It takes off all the dead things that our bodies are still giving nutrition to. But if you're trying to feed something that's dead, it's just not going to work. So we have to get cut, and we're here, right? And we're healing advocates, right? Where we have gone through things, we have made it through, and we know that the journey's ugly, but it's worth it. You're crying, you're in pain, but it's worth it, right? That temporary discomfort is worth an eternal level of healing. So that's what we're here to say. We're raising the banner and saying healing is more than a hashtag. Right? Yeah. It's not something you put on the end of a post to make yourself sound woke or cool. Or if you're healing, then heal and do it for real. Do it authentically. Ladies, what do you think about that? What is your take on why we named it this?
Well, I just want to be real for a second. So my healing journey, that's how I thought it was going to be. That I was just going to be sitting on the beach somewhere, just, you know, with some wine and just like, yes, I'm free of everything. And it was the complete opposite. It was the darkest time of my life because, for one, I had a victim's mentality. So I wanted to blame everybody else. I didn't want to take the things I got myself into. So when I really got into therapy and really started healing, it was like, whoa, I got to be responsible for the things that I got myself into. And it was a dark time for me. It was a lot of days where I didn't feel like I was healing, but I really was, because he was stripping me. He was pruning all that off of me. And so I just tell anybody, if you're going to be serious about it, get ready for a roller coaster, because it's up and down days. You'll be up one day and feel so good, then you down the next day. But it's all the process and it's all the journey that you have to go through. So I tell people that all the time. It's for real. And it's serious. And I'm still on the healing journey. You know, it's things I have overcome, but you're never really done with it until you're up out of here. That's about it. That's really what it is.
It's true. You never arrive. You're never fully healed. Nobody ever could be.
No.
You experience different levels of healing. Like, okay, I've overcome this, right? My childhood trauma, domestic violence, all the racial trauma. I've overcome this. But there's still tomorrow, today, right now in this moment, there's still stuff that we all have to heal from. So if we think we've arrived and we're celebrating, man, we're going to be knocked.
No.
That was
one little thing can trigger you, and you'll be like, I thought I was past that, and it trigger you just like that. I've had plenty of episodes with this last month. I was like, I thought I was well past that, but I have to do more work.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So yes, when I think about healing, I think of it it's a lifestyle in a sense that we work towards healing in whatever it is that we're going through, been there, done that, as we all have. So we're talking about this journey. So in my darkest of days, crying, boohoo, whatever, suffering in silence. Let's keep it real if we're going to be all the way real. Sometimes we feel like we are by ourselves, even though as we get further into our journey, we know that we're not, and we tap into and we have the discernment. I know it's something I prayed for. We tap into the discernment to know who to connect with, that we can know that we're not alone. But there are times when we feel alone and dark places and so forth. But once we learn how to cope, healthy coping skills, and we learn what to do, we know that we are in our humanity going to struggle and suffer and what have you. But then whenever we have another experience that sets us back, if you will, or brings us to a challenging place, then we just go back to those strategies, including like connecting with the right people to uplift you, prayer, meditation, whatever you need to do. So that's why I call it this lifestyle. It's like when you start eating healthy, you might be tempted to backslide, but you're going to tap into that salad. I'm going to tap into whatever I need to do whenever I feel like, woe is me, and this is just, I'm about to be broken. But no, because I have been healed. And so too, again, shall I find whatever I need to find in my lifestyle journey of healing to be good. So that's just kind of what I think about. It's what we choose. We can either choose to dwell on whatever is bringing us down, or we can choose to get ourselves lifted up and do the work. Sometimes you might need to cry, but then you get back up and you phone a friend. That's a throwback phrase. Phone a friend. Who you want to phone? Phone our actual real friend, not a fake friend. You phone a friend, be like, girl, I know I'm going through it too, but let me pray with you. Let me love on you. And before you know, you like, you know what, God, you are bigger than whatever this is that I'm going through. So to me, it's a lifestyle.
I like that. I have a question I want to ask you too. Why do you guys think that some people find healing so hard that they don't want to go through it, or they don't want to deal with what they need to deal with? Why is that so hard? Like real, true healing, not the social media healing that we see out here, but like really, real, true healing.
You know what? I think people have it's an awesome question, because I was thinking of that too. I'm like, I just think that people have such a low pain tolerance that, like, because we have microwaves and Netflix and all this stuff that's quick, right? Check on your phone and take out Google, and it's right there, it's so quick that we have not really built up endurance and resilience. Y'all know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't done that. Or we've been given so much, or I'm looking at the younger generation and I'm like, man, how are they going to heal? You know what I mean? Because there's such a fragility with our young people. There's like the wind blows too strong and they're crying, and that's no shade. It's just a reality. And it stems from a lot of things, right? Their parents said, my parents were too hard on me, so I'm going to be very soft on my children. It's a balance. So I think we have not built up the endurance, and one small iota, one little thing of pain makes us say, oh no, I can't do it. Even though us healing is going to make our minds clearer, it's going to catapult us to the next level of our purpose. We can complete our visions, our goals. We can hear from the Most High more clear, like all that benefit. You do a pros and cons list. The pros of healing far outweigh the cons. But that one small con of pain, we don't want to do that. I'm speaking from experience. Why didn't I want to heal? Because it was painful. It hurt me to think about people mistreating me and abusing me mentally and emotionally. That was painful. But when you push past the pain, it's like working out. Your arms are sore, but then you keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? You build up a healing muscle. Healing is a muscle you have to work constantly. When we feel a little bit of pain, we're like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So it's just endurance and resilience that we have to build up.
So true. It's like no pain, no gain, physically and mentally. So we don't, to your point, Steph, excellent point. Like, it's easy just to just keep on out there like everything is cool, because to actually feel the pain and work through it and whatever you got to do to work through it, that's painful. People don't want to do all of that. But when you do it, I speak for myself, there is a freedom that comes with it. Freedom that comes with it. And nobody can tell you nothing. Once you free, But to get there
Yeah.
is to endure the pain.
Yeah. It's
Easily.
freedom. Yeah. It's freedom, and it's also lonely.
It is. No,
Oh,
it's
you're talking
true.
about it.
Okay, let's
Lonely.
talk about it.
It's very, very lonely on the other side of healing, because you get the
Yes.
opportunity to see people that are not working on themselves, and you be
Yes.
like, I want this for you so bad. Like, I want you to. It's okay to go through it, but some people don't. But then on the flip side, you get to come across people that have done the work for themselves, and you get to share their journey and hear their journey and be like, okay, then. So it's both. But I know with mine, it's been real lonely, because God completely wiped every friend out that I had. And I was like, I was just alone for a certain period of time. And I was like, okay, then. But I had never been alone. That was another part of me having the mindset. I was always either with a man, or I had to have a million people around me. I never just could be by myself. And so these past 8 years of me being on this healing journey that I'm on, I've been by myself. And for the first time, it's just been me and God and my children. And it's a freedom I've never had before. Because even though I had all those people around me, I was still lonely. I didn't have nobody I can talk to. Now, we can go out and have a good time, but when I need to pray, when I need you to pray for me, you was nowhere to be found. They was nowhere to be found. So he removed all them.
That's it.
And that's how it happens. And we really realize how much we've trauma bonded with people.
Yes.
Yes.
How much we've entered into a covenant of trauma with someone, and then when we heal or when they heal, that relationship has to break up, because our vested interest is no more, and the mist clears and the fog is removed, and your eyes are clear, and you're like, why am I still hanging out with you?
Yeah.
Family included.
Number one.
Especially, you trauma bond with your family, and you're so used to just being in this toxic cycle and all these things going on. And when you're able to raise your head above the clouds, I'm a visual person. If y'all can't tell, viewers, I'm a visualization every episode. If you raise your head above the clouds and you've been in smog, I'm from Boston, right? We know about smog. You raise your heads above the clouds, and then you smell the fresh air for the first time. You're like, I'm never going back to smog.
I'm not going back to it. Not dealing with it.
I'm never ever going back. And then you get addicted to healing, and you stay in that space. You want to be addicted to something? Get addicted to healing. Get addicted.
That's an addiction. That's an addiction I'll rock with. It's usually a negative connotation, but be addicted to healing. That part is okay. More than okay. But no, to your point, Mona, it is lonely. And one of the things that, and it's a journey. So it's something that we work through, we struggle through and what have you. But I have been lonely, and I'm the type of person, and I believe that you are too, where we're used to being around people, whether it be a man, whether it be female friend, hey girl, hey, what have you. In theory, that is nice, in theory. But when you are unequally yoked with people, I have found, as much as it's a struggle and I had to work through, I had to struggle sitting by myself, just enjoying my own company. It was sad, it's lonely, it's all these things. But once I got addicted to it and I saw the freedom, I was able to differentiate being out with people. And at the end of the time, I'm just feeling drained emotionally. I'm feeling like, why did I even bother? I could have been home and been at peace. So when I would, in my mind, compare those experiences with, okay, I'm at home by myself, okay, kind of lonely, but my mind is at peace. And when I would over and over again kind of connect those dots, I would say, you know what? I'm not going to go back to just being around people just to be around people.
Come on.
I'm not going to do it, because there's a difference between the freedom and the peace that I feel when I'm by myself. And then our eyes and our mind gets open to the people like who we are on this platform with right now. Then you find your tribe. When you're alone, you have the mental clarity you need to not just rock with people that's not for you. And no shade, not saying they bad people for those listeners, but they might not be what you need at that moment in your life. So it's good to discern who is supposed to be in your life at what time and point in your life. Some people gotta go. Let them be on their own journey. Sometimes they hanging on to you and they can't grow because they just, they just on your coattail of whatever God has gifted you with in that moment. Let them go and let their own self shine and let you go and have some freedom. So it's lonely, trust me. I say it loud. It's lonely, but it's freedom, I'm not going back.
Oh my goodness. I used to want to help everybody. I was that friend. Like
Woo,
I'm draining
woo. Been there, but
myself.
you know what though? Been there, done that too. But you know what? Jesus saves, not me.
Yeah.
I don't save
Girl.
people. I had to get to that point because when you are empath,
Yeah.
like I am, and I know we've talked about some of us. You know, I know you said Mona, that's you too. You want people to heal, and you want them to be better. You see what they're going through, this, that, and the third with whatever, family member or boyfriend or whatever. You try to help them,
She
but you
can't.
find yourself going down with them. You just on a misery cycle. I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah.
Be blessed, but I'm not doing it. I'm
I'm gonna
not
tell you
doing
something. I caught it early.
it.
A friend girl that we was working with. I had just started working at this place, and like we just started clicking, but it was nothing but trauma. Oh,
Mm,
my baby daddy this. Oh, this happened. Then I was like, whoa, I cannot connect myself to you, and not trying to be funny or not trying to be that. But if you don't have anything else that you want to talk about, it was all just trauma. It was
mm,
all just this and that. And I was like, mm-mm. And when I approached her about it, respectfully, she didn't want to have that. She wanted to be there. So I was like, that's your journey, but I'm moving forward. I don't want to stay stuck with what this man did or what that man did or what my child did, because I'm past that. I survived it. I'm over it. And to a certain extent, I don't want to keep reliving it every day. And
yeah.
I
It's
caught that
triggering.
red flag early.
It's
Yeah, and so
triggering. People
some
trigger
people
you with their own stuff that they keep on rehashing.
you'll be triggered.
Yeah,
You'll be triggered, and what's really triggering, and that's the word, right?
trigger.
What's really triggering is when you see people who love to be in trauma and drama. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like
don't want to
you
do
try,
nothing about it.
they don't want to do anything about it, and like it was mentioned before, they're hanging on so much that we become their god.
that
They're depending on us so much
that is
that
a
we're
whole
now
word.
their god.
And I don't
We're
want to
their
be
god.
nobody's God. God said, don't put
Yeah.
nobody before me.
Well, and here's the thing: when you become an idol, we idols get knocked down. We see idols in America. We see idols everywhere, falling, toppling, scandal. When you're an idol, it's
Mm-hmm.
It's
inevitable that
happening.
you're going to get
It's
knocked down.
happening.
It's
Yeah.
happening, and everybody has to go on their own journey. I'm just piggybacking on what's already been said.
Yeah.
Everybody must go on their own journey, and if we had to go on our own journey, and we had to be isolated. We have multiple examples of people who had to be in complete isolation, right? They had to be in complete isolation. Like Joseph had to be isolated. He had to be by himself. Yes, he was in the pit. He was in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Ezekiel, all these people were just alone, alone. Elijah, alone,
Moses.
by themselves. You have to. Moses, you have to be by yourself
Yeah.
because there's so much static and noise, and our trauma talks so loud
Mm.
sometimes that we need to be by ourselves. So I'm on the kick, my sisters, that we do not hide and shy away from isolation, because the
Mm.
healing happens in the isolation. I keep mentioning being buried inside the ground. A seed is very lonely. Oh, a seed is very isolated in that soil. It's dark, it's lonely. You things are happening you can't see. But when that seed breaks up out of the ground, you're like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
oh, I made it. This is the healing that we're talking about.
Exactly.
If you're listening and you're in an isolated season, or if you're resisting the isolation, you're actually stopping your healing, and you're delaying your healing. So go be isolated so
Yeah.
you can heal. We all had to do it. We all had to go through it.
I always identified with Moses. Like out of
Yeah,
every
okay.
character in the Bible, it was always Moses and
Yeah,
Exodus. I would always find myself going back to and
yeah,
reading, and just to
yeah.
see how his journey, how he was in the wilderness for 40 years. Like out there,
Yeah.
he didn't start his journey till he was 80. And I was just like, it was a lie. So I was like, okay, then. But
Yeah.
I'm a question person. I want you guys to know I'm a big question person and everything. So, because I'm always inquisitive and just want to know things. So, I want to look at two different things: healing versus back like my grandmother's time versus the women now. So, back in those olden days, those women, they stayed through abuse, they stayed through multiple outside children, they stayed through all kind of stuff and didn't do anything. They would encourage our age range to stay too. Versus now, women are, I feel like they're a little bit more quicker to leave, and get on somewhere and buy their business. Do you think it's a complete difference? from back then versus now when it comes to they what happened in my house, stay in my house. You know what I'm saying? They had that type of mentality to, like to now.
I'll let you take that one.
Oh wait, hold on now. No, I'm just playing.
No, it's whatever. I'm just teaching. I could say what I'm gonna say. So, but so I'm gonna say something too. Real talk.
Yeah, it's real talk because I like that you brought up women, right? We're in Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We're in World Mental Health Awareness Month. You know what I mean? Shout out to all the survivors who made it through, right? Domestic violence and mental health issues, right? You're also a survivor if you make it through that. You're alive to tell the story because a lot of people aren't here. You know what I mean? But let me keep going. So back then, it's like women had to stay. You weren't able to vote. You didn't have a job. You didn't have your own income. You didn't go to school. You didn't have anything. You barely had a 6th grade education.
Just barefoot and pregnant.
Huh? Barefoot and pregnant. If you left your house, where were you going to go? What were you going to do? You had to stay. So yes, you had to endure your husband having 3 families around the town. And you knew it. You guys all saw each other at the grocery store because you guys all went shopping for your kids at the same time. Like, you knew it. And you knew it, and you heard it in church, right? Because it was buzzing. There's no more. The gossip happens in church more than anywhere else. Let's just be real, right?
Yeah.
You heard about it in church. You saw it in the neighborhood. Neighbors were neighbors back then, so everyone was coming over for dinner parties. You were the talk of the town. You could not go anywhere. There was nothing to do. What that did to that generation. Oh man, what. It desecrated them. So now our generation, we have to be the models of healthy behavior for them to see that, yes, it can happen. And this is how you do it. You're never too old to get into a good mental health. You're never too old. So just speaking of that, I'm like, they had nowhere to go. Yeah. That causes some type of breaking in your mind where you're just on autopilot. How many of our grandparents were drinking and you just did it. That's you get through. You just do things over and over and over again. You just try to get through the pain, and you pass that off to your children. Yeah. And if you don't know how to break the cycle, that is the generational thing that keeps going down and down. I've just been dealt this hand of cards, and I'm just going to deal with it. I can't go any further. I can't go any higher. My, that did something to us, and now the strong Black woman of this generation, we have to be the model citizens to show you, Nana and Big Mama. You can come out of that. I know what you're in, but you don't have to stay there.
I'm not taking that. Yeah, my mother didn't. Yeah, my mother was like that. She didn't understand that I still chose to have some type of relationship with the fathers of my children. And I was like, I'm healed from them. I'm over them. There's no reason for me to be carrying around all that hate and everything. I mean, it is what it is. I'm moving forward. And she just couldn't understand it. But then I looked on the flip side. Her and my father had been together since she was 15 and he was 19. So he was always in and out. And she was just right there waiting. And I was like, wow. So that's why from her mindset is I'm here and I'm always going to wait for him. And I was like, no, ma'am, I refuse to put my life on hold for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, Steph, what you were saying is so true. Like historically, women didn't really have that many choices. So that's in large part why, just go ahead and stay and endure and what have you and so on and so forth. So now we have a lot more choices and options. So to your question, Mona, sometimes women, oftentimes these days, more so than in the past, will just be like, I'm out, I'm not going to deal with this. So my thought process with all of this is such that, we couldn't really leave back in the day, but now, yes, absolutely. We don't need to endure anybody's, mistreatment, abuse, any of that. But I think, unfortunately, from what women in the past, not even like that long ago, but even like a couple generations before, mothers, grandmothers, what they've endured, I think has caused some of us to have this toxic mentality towards men, even before we get with them, just because our mamas had bad experiences. So I think, in my humble opinion, we have to heal from even the ways that our mamas dealt with men and talked about men. We don't want to endure abuse from them because that's a whole no. Yeah. However, sometimes we just already just off the jump, like men ain't this and they ain't that or whatever. That came from somewhere. That came from the type of stuff some of our mothers endured that they shouldn't have to, but not all men are like this way that sometimes some of our moms came with. And if we keep holding on to that, we could be keeping ourselves from love and joy and working with and, you know, being healed ourselves and the men that might want to love us and care for us. But I think too many of us hold on to this negativity and we're not healed. And so no to enduring abuse, but also no to just putting all the toxicity on every single man out there, because that's not good for us. Like,
no, it's not.
I
It's
want to
not.
be loved.
It's not.
I don't want to be abused. I don't want nobody to come with no fake love and oh baby this and baby that and just be on some BS. But I don't want to just shoot opportunities because I'm holding on to whatever mama, grandma said, men is this, and look what your daddy put me through and all this, whatever. I'm sorry, mama, that happened to you. I really am. That hurts my heart. I'm sorry, grandma, that happened to you. That hurts my heart. But let me go ahead and be healed and have better discernment and wisdom to make sure that if it's God's will, that I'm with a man who is going to love me and care for me, not, you know, just warding off men altogether. So I think we got to be careful as new age modern women. I don't really like that terminology, but whatever. New age modern women to not endure abuse, but just not to like keep love from us because we stuck in some old mentality.
Okay, so two things about that, Lakeisha. My mother was an addict. My father was an addict, and so the things that they allowed to happen to us, you know, a lot of things happened to my mom. And when I learned her story, it helped me in my healing. And so I had to, it was years ago, I had to sit all my children down and apologize to them because I talked about their father so bad because of what I was still going through and dealing with and still hating them and everything. And then regretting that I have 3 children by 3 different men and everything. And they're all just not in their life. So I sat down and I actually heard a sermon at church. And it changed me completely. I sat them down, I apologized to them, and I said I would never talk bad about them in front of you ever again, because my mother did us like that. We didn't get a chance to have a perspective of who our dad was because he was already trash and no good and this and that from her experience. And so I took that to heart. And I'm so big on it when it comes to my children with communication, teaching them how to heal, because I'm here to break the cycle that my family went through. Because it's like poverty, abuse, sexual abuse, all that run in my family. I was like, it ran, but it ended with me. My children are not going to go through it. They're going to learn how to communicate and learn how to heal and all that. So I know I worked their last nerve with, but I was like, in a long run, you're going to look back and see that, you know, mom went through all that, so you don't have to go through it. You learn from her wisdom. Allow me to teach you and lead you and guide you, because you got to go out here in this world one day. You can't stay with me forever. You got to go on out here and be someone in this world. So, and healing plays a big part of that. My son, he'll be 20 in January, and I try to tell him all the time, I don't need no woman calling me, telling me, your son is this, your son is that. I want him to know who he is as a man. If he have to choose to live on his own, you can take care of yourself. But if you choose to get married one day and have children, you can be a good, strong leader and provider for you. That's what I'm trying to teach him now and everything. And also teach my daughters that you don't have to stay through 6, 7 baby daddies and abuse and they dogging you out and just say, oh, no, you don't got to stay through that. You can go. First time, go. That was my mistake. The first time I got hit, I didn't leave. I stayed, oh, he'll change, and it got worse and worse, which I'll go into my story when we have our next episode and everything. And it just, I didn't leave, and because I was a broken woman. And I was like, I would never want my daughters to go through what I went through just to have a piece of a man, because I didn't know myself. And so I was like, no, I'm so much on every day. I look for like, Lord, what can I be healed from today? What maybe something I didn't know, something I need to know now. I'm here for. I stay in his presence and stay, you know, just seeking him. And that's a big part too of healing, is allowing the Holy Spirit to come in and just, you know what I'm saying, help you with it, help you with the healing, because you can't do it on your own. You really cannot do it by yourself.
No, if we could have, we would have. And it's just a reality, just like
it would have been
salvation.
just like that.
If we could have, we would have. You know what I'm thinking of? Just hearing you both speak, I'm like, there has to be a balance when we're talking about telling our story and healing, right? I come out of the church, right? And And one of the major issues that we always found was that the older women never really told us their true stories. They never really told us what they actually went through. So we're going through stuff, we're experiencing issues, something's happening. Instead of them saying, oh, I went through that too, baby, or I went through that too, honey, and let me help you navigate, they made it seem like no one's ever went through this before in your life and no one's ever done this, right? So that's one side of the spectrum where it's like no one says that anyone went through anything, like finding out that older family members or that older people who are around us went through some of the same issues. It's like, wait, what? Then on the flip side, we have to be cautious of not bashing, right? What Lakeisha was saying, who I know is going to be back soon. What
Okay,
was
I was
being
gonna say, where did she go?
dropped. She dropped, but she's coming back. She's coming right back on.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was like, what happened?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry.
We just keep moving. Yep, we just keep moving and rolling.
Okay, I said me and Steph got bigger.
I was trying to mute myself. My bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we just keep it moving. We just keep it rolling. So on one end, it's like, okay, you guys didn't say what you were going through, and then on the other end, it's like, man, don't make me hate something before I even have a chance to experience it.
Yeah.
Don't make me hate, man. Don't make me think of this. Don't make me be afraid. There's a lot of fear and anxiety that's passed down, right? Because people were too afraid to do something, or someone told you to be afraid of it. Someone told you to be afraid of traveling to Africa, right? You're afraid. People told you not to go. It's a horrible place. Like, don't do that. Don't go. And then get there. You're like, why wouldn't I want to come here, right? It's propaganda. It's stuff that's been passed all the way down. We have to be so cautious of that. So that's what I was thinking of when I was just hearing you two speaking. Like, we have to find a healthy balance. Healing is finding a healthy balance. You are cautious because you want to make sure that you're okay, but you're sharing your journey and you're not already having these preconceived notions where it's like, I'm not going to do that because so-and-so had a bad time with that. Well, that's not your story. Now you're living out someone else's testimony. Now you're trying to live out someone else's healing journey. And it's like, we have to go on our own. So that's all that was spinning through my mind when you both were speaking.
Okay. Amen.
Yeah, thank you. Amen to that. And look, we real out there, listeners, viewers, because here I am trying to be all respectful and mute myself, and I just took myself out. But it's all good. Now I'm back. But back to what I was gonna say. And I'm a little comedian, at least in my own mind. So I'll be funny and serious at the same time.
But those on audio can't see anything, so they wouldn't know.
Well, those on audio, hey, y'all are cool. No worries. You didn't know. You don't know the difference. It's those on video. Hey,
Keep going.
Girl, hey. Keep going. Yes, exactly. So, but yeah, a good point, Steph, as far as like, we have to live our own story and not be in fear of whatever else somebody else said. But Mona, thank you for really a moment ago illustrating healing in practice when you said you spoke to your children. I truly admire that because we have all experienced things where to a certain extent we were influenced by, be it parents, mother, whoever. But when we learn to take accountability once we've learned something and we want to be different, and we then, in your example, say, you know what, let me sit down, let me talk to my kids, let me do better, let me be better, let me break first. I respect that, I honor that, I admire that, so too have I done in different ways, but I just wanted to shout out to you for sharing that transparency.
I appreciate that. Therapy kicked my behind. I'm still in therapy. Yeah. It really did. So Steph, I know you said you big on analogies and everything, but the one therapist I had, 'cause I've had quite a few over the years, the best analogy she gave me, she was like, first off, don't come here with a mask on because I can't help you. And second, she told me I had a whole bunch of graves attached to me. And she was like, you're walking around with all this trauma from your mom, trauma from your dad, trauma from your sisters, trauma from the men that you chose to be in your life, just trauma. And she was like, you just walking with graves. You just got them attached to you. We got to dig them graves up and we got to deal with that and we got to heal. And I always kept that with me. And I was like, I don't want none of that attached to me. And I don't want it attached to my children at our peers. So I used to wonder, like, why my life has always been so hard. It's because I was sent to destroy what the devil trying to do for my bloodline. And it's not going to go to my children's bloodline. So I was like, okay, then you can shoot your best shot. I got you.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. And I'm sure I'm willing to bet a lot of money that your therapist who told you that had to watch out for the graves that she was carrying around. Yeah. You end up, especially as a therapist, you end up jumping into the field and seeing the things that you had to go through. So going through a therapy program, like going through that program, it's 3 years, it's a grueling 3 years. I mean, it whips you. You come in one way, it whips you to the left, to the right, up and down, because you have to deal with your own stuff before you can help someone, or you become a hypocrite, right? You're either a healer or a hypocrite. That if I'm telling you that this is what we're going through and that we're going to walk through this together and that you have graves on you and this, and we need to work on boundaries and all that, it's only because I had to say that to myself, or I had to hear that. You know what I mean? So healing is like you pour it out, what was poured into you. You give what was given to you. I think the beauty of finding your own healing like treatment plan is it's therapy for some people and it's life coach for others. And it's finding a good group of friends who are like authentic. I don't mean the friends who are like, hey girl, and it's fake. And no, it's like a good tribe, a good group of friends, right? Who are supportive of you. Like this is the healing treatment plan that we're saying it's more than a hashtag, because it looks cute to put a post on Instagram. It looks cute to do a reel and put it out everywhere. But when that camera clicks off, you are dying on the inside and you are dead on the inside and you are crying and you are soaking your pillow at night.
You can't look at yourself in the mirror.
Come on. And you're looking at everyone else. You can't look at yourself and then you're comparing yourself to everyone else. It has to be more than a hashtag or we will never be okay. It has to be more than, oh, let me do this cute post. You got to get down and pull up the root. I'm landing my plane, but sometimes we only cut off the branches and we pluck off the leaves. And then for that season, we think we're healed, right? But let the spring and summer come. When the leaves start to grow again, you realize that stuff is going to come up again unless we yank it up from the root. That's the painful part. That the roots.
I'm telling you, as you talking right now, Holy Spirit just gave me 3 show ideas for us to do. I was like, I'm telling you, that's why I was sitting here right now. I was like, come on now. Just from hearing you speaking. Okay.
It's reality. It's reality.
It is. You need to pull up the roots of things, because that's where it's at right there. You can cut the tree out. It's the roots. If you don't fix that root,
you have to.
It's over. It's over. And we don't have the strength. We don't have the strength to pull it up. So we need the Holy Spirit to first reveal what needs to be pulled up and then give us the strength. We don't have the strength to pull up the root. No. Those roots go so deep into the core of our earth that we don't have the muscle. We don't have the power. So we need something outside of ourselves to pull that thing up and utterly destroy it. Or we'll keep going in those same nasty, vicious cycles, and we'll keep saying
exactly. So true.
You don't have to live like that.
Man,
no.
Guys, I am just amazed by how God has aligned all 3 of us to come together and have so many similar stories and similar journeys, and just have the same passion for healing and wanting to help people heal. Like I'm just sitting here in awe, because I know I prayed for this. I prayed for 2 just strong women like you, and he opened that door and blessed, me to call you friend and everything. And I'm grateful that we're really about to help people out here and get them to see that, it ain't all fun and games to healing. It's true. And it's your life, and your life depends on it, because you can either stay stuck being a victim or you can come over to the other side, because it's nice on the other side too.
It is. It might not be fun and games at first when we're uprooting and we're crying, boo-hooing or what have you. But once you do the work, on the other side, I'm having fun. It's fun to be free in your mind, more so than be stressed out by somebody that intentionally or unintentionally trying to make you lose your mind. Get an amen. So I'm having fun personally, because I'd rather be free and not be having nobody bring me down, be nobody's pseudo therapist, stressed out, this, that, and the third. So I'm having fun a lot more. My mind is free and fun.
And peace is fun.
Peace is so fun.
Baby, peace is fun, and having your own peace of mind. And boundaries are fun. And knowing that
boundaries,
when you lay your head down, when you lay your head down at night, you are sitting there, you are in peace, you are good. You can look at yourself in the mirror, like you said, Mona. You can look at yourself in the mirror, and you can know that you are at peace. You have a clean and pure heart. Your hands are clean.
My God,
you know that you are good. That
I put
boundaries in place.
Boundaries.
I'm okay.
Boundaries is so good.
Let me say
Please
something
talk about boundaries, please.
Because that's my steez, right? That's where I really be like, all right, come on. But I can only do it because I had to move past the hashtag. That if I'm putting boundaries on every post and I'm not having boundaries, what am I doing? Moving past the hashtag looks like I have to put boundaries around myself. Boundaries don't protect you from the things outside. It protects from what you put the boundary around. So if you're in the boundary, you're protecting yourself.
Yeah.
And I always say it like this. I put a boundary up because I love somebody. I'm going to say this until I don't have any more breath. If I give you a boundary, it means I love you.
Yeah.
It means that I still want to be around you, but I have to put this boundary up because you've crossed a line that is infringed upon my personal boundaries that I have to say, if you still want to hang around me, if you still want me to pick up your phone call and not put you on the block list, that is ever growing. The ever-growing block list that is growing so long.
Look, don't get on the be blocked and be blessed list. Don't be on that list. Don't do it.
Blocking and blessing.
Go in peace. Be blessed. Go, because don't get put on the block list. If you still want to be in communication with me, you're gonna honor this boundary. You can tell by how much someone loves you by how much they respect your boundaries. If they respect your boundaries, they love you. If not, take a peek, take a look. These are all the signs. It's just a reality.
Sis, that's the boundaries is a whole word. Like that's the main thing that I learned in therapy is to set boundaries. That's really the primary thing that I learned with family and so-called friends. Heavy on the family.
Yeah.
And like you said, it love the boundaries. Some people I think have a misconception about therapy in general, but boundaries in particular. But like you said, if somebody loves or respects you and you put a boundary, they're going to be cool. It's the people that want to use you that's going to have a problem. And those people, you don't need them anyways. No. So I'm going to run that back. If the people love and respect you and you put a boundary, they're going to be cool with you still. But the people who want to use you, they the one that don't like the boundary on you, don't need them anyways. So that's real. Yeah. That's real. And boundaries is so powerful because like you said, it's really, for people you love and you want to give them an opportunity not to cross the line. But for me, to be honest, boundaries, really, when I think about it, I think about helping myself, being a recovering overachiever, perfectionist, this, that, and the third. Boundaries is to help me to not have more on my plate than, God says he doesn't give us any more burdens than we can bear. But sometimes raise my hand, I take on too many burdens throughout my life. But I've learned that no is a full sentence, respectfully.
Complete.
No, period. Complete
no,
sentence.
Period. And one love. Yeah.
One love.
That's one love. Yes, that's it. So, I might have been born in Jamaica, raised in South Florida. Possibly. That's how we do. Could have possibly, maybe. But no, like seriously, like, no, and that's to protect me and the other person, to your point, Steph. If I love a person and I love you. So I'm going to say no. And if you know me, you know that I do all that I can. But that is just extra that's not going to be good for my mental, physical, everything. It's not. So boundaries is just real. That's the real truth right there. Get you some boundaries in life.
Get you some boundaries.
Okay. Yeah. Well, ladies, what y'all think so far? I love this.
Yes.
I feel so good, ma'am. I can't wait to give you the name of these shows when we can reconvene again.
Yes, we speaking the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So if you want truth, come right here. It might not be always what you want to hear, but it's gonna be truth that's gonna be good for you on the other side.
We did some stuff today. Like I wasn't expecting us to hit it, but I was expecting us to hit. I'm sorry, I take that back, but not like we hit it. Okay, we about to help some people. That's all I keep saying. We're about to help.
That's it.
I was expecting us to go deep, right? I feel like, I'm just being honest. I was expecting us to dig deep because if we're saying, we're healing, right? We're in truth. It's the truth that sets us free. And a lot of us have become so comfortable with the lie that the truth offends us. If healing is offensive to you, we got to take a peek. We've all been there. that I'm trying to be held accountable, but my trauma is choking me and saying, no, don't move on. And we build our identities, right? I'm not trying to preach, but when it's in you, right?
Amen.
We build our identities on trauma. So in order to now build an identity on healing, we have to knock down the idol of trauma, the statue that we have built up. We built a statue of trauma. And we layered it and we covered it and we made sure that it dried and it was nice and we put it in our garden and it was out there. If we're saying we want to heal, that trauma statue has to be destroyed. So that means our identity has to break. I'm scared thinking of that. I get fearful thinking of that. That's the journey. If we're talking about the real, that we have to be okay with knocking away that part of our identity that we might have been carrying for 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Trauma's all some of us know. It is our best friend. It's our cloak. Trauma's our lifestyle. Healing is a lifestyle, absolutely. But trauma is the lifestyle that a lot of us are adopting to. So if we want to get into the healing lifestyle, we have to divorce ourselves from trauma. We have to say, you're no longer with me anymore. I got to leave you so I can grow and heal. We're choking and we don't have to choke anymore. We don't have to choke anymore. We can breathe. We can, oh my gosh, I haven't breathed for so long. Healing is hurtful. It's painful. I hate it. I hate healing. I'm being honest. I hate it, but we need it. It's necessary, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to go through it. But on the flip side, being in that traumatic cycle, that's no good. That's no way to live.
Healing is the lesser of two evils.
Healing is the lesser of two evils.
It really is, because pick your path. Pick your path. You can choose trauma, but you just gonna be going like this. You could just be in a traumatic cycle, or you can choose healing. It's gonna hurt, it's gonna cry, but once you get to the root with the help of the Almighty, then you could get to the other side and be free, fun and free to your mind.
Amen.
Correct. It's so
That's
true.
it. Pick your path. Pick your path.
Pick your path, and pick your path wisely. Pick it wisely.
Pick it wisely. That's it.
Yeah. Because it's hard to get out. It's hard to get out of that trauma cycle once you get in and you make a commitment. You take a covenant to trauma. You know what I mean? And if we want to be honest, we have to be real and true with ourselves. It's not what anyone did. It's what we allowed to continue. I'm just being honest. You know, like,
yes,
to all of us.
That's the whole word. That's the whole word.
Now that we're an adult, what did we say? I'm gonna adopt to. Oh, my family did this. I'm gonna keep doing this too. No one made us do it, but you're in a trauma cycle, and you need to sometimes fall and crash and bump your head so that when you get up, you can see there's two different paths that I can choose. Right. So don't be mad if you fell off your bike. You know, if you got a flat tire, if you had to get out, and maybe you're upset, or something didn't work and you fell all the way to the bottom. The crashing is not the issue. It's getting up and then going back to the trauma. That's the problem. That when you fall, all three of us, we've been at our lowest of low. I mean, deep, dark spaces. But we got up and we said, I'm never going back to that dark space again. I have literally said, no, I'm not. We've made the decision. It's a choice we made. It takes courage. It takes courage. And if we're being real, I know we're being honest, we have to look at inside first. It's not external all the time. What's happening in here? And what ways can I hold myself accountable in my healing journey? It's not you. It's me. It's me.
Exactly.
That's hard.
It really is hard, sis, but it's so necessary, because like, even for me throughout my life, I had to get to a point to say, you know what, why am I attracting these type of guys? I literally had to stop and just be like, and looking back, you know, kind of before my time of these hashtags of healing and like hashtag self-care, but like literally back in however many years ago, not kind of trying to say my age, hashtag Black don't crack. Hey.
You look good. You
look good still. Me look, you know, me look good still. But real talk though, like I literally looked back at some point, you know, however many years back, decades ago, and I just got to a point where I was like, why am I attracting these type of guys? I'm just unhappy with them. Like, this is something that I actually stopped and I paused and I did. I don't remember, because I'm a writer, you know, so I might have written down in my little journal or whatever. And I got to the point where I realized that it was me. it was me in the sense that I was too nice. Me not nice no more. Me kind of nice is different. It's different. So I realized that I was too nice. And I don't know if I thought about it at the level of intellect then that I'm going to phrase it now. But either way, I think God is so good that some kind of way he made sense in my young brain that I was like, I used to like expect less from guys than I would hold a standard to myself. So in other words, I was out here working hard and doing well in school and being respectful, et cetera, good girl, if you will, you know what I'm saying? Good Christian girl. I was being good, but I was in my young girl, naive, in my humanity, it was just like letting people be like, hey, be below, yes, yeah. And then I was just like, I look back and I was like, no, like I deserve better. But at first I didn't think about it like that. So I held myself accountable. And from then, it didn't happen right away where I was, from the bad boys to the good boys. It wasn't overnight, but it was a progressive journey where I started to get better. And, shout out, I got me a good man now. I got me a good one. That's afraid. That's because I spend time alone for discernment. So ladies, a good man out there. We just got to fall back from all the foolishness and check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Somebody know that reference.
Yeah, it's some great men.
Throwback. Look, it's somebody. Now, real talk, mic check 1 2 1 2. We already talked about ourselves, but I will say that some of y'all, you see me, hear me. I might have used to rock a mic back in the day, so I might have some bars left in me. So, it is what it is.
Look, we're gonna do a healing freestyle.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that. Yes, girl, sis, all of that. But no, but real talk, like to the point of accountability, I took accountability, and that's part of what helped me on my journey in every area of my life, relationships, be it romantic, platonic, etc. We have to take accountability and not just be like, oh, it's my parents' fault I'm like this. It's this, ex-boyfriend. It's this ex-husband. It's this whatever. Yes, those contributed to some of our challenges, but it's our responsibility if we want to live the John 10:10 life. Somebody check that. You know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. If you don't know, look it up. Google, because we want to Google stuff. I know my students love to Google stuff. Google it. If you want to live that John 10:10 life, you have to do the work. You have to take yourself accountable, hold yourself accountable. And you got to do the work to heal and grow so you can have better. You want more, you have to do more. You have to do the work.
You really do. It's the work. It's the work. And you have to really put in overtime. You got to clock in your hours. You have to put in overtime because your trauma's putting in overtime to take you down. So we have to be work. It's just like we see the kingdom of darkness, right? We see the devil, we see his minions. They're putting in overtime. I mean, they're punching their hard.
Yeah, they really are.
We in the kingdom, we who know the truth, we who know our identity, where we come from, we have to be putting in overtime too. We can't be sleeping while they're up doing seances and praying and making concoctions. We have to be up and fasting and praying. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with healing.
Yes.
That trauma's going to always work to bring you back. You're going to always remember that traumatic thing. But healing, man, you stick with it, you stay with it, you keep going, you build that muscle. It just flows. It becomes like your lifestyle. You don't have to worry about it. It's just you get up, you watch how you're responding to certain things. 10, maybe not 10 years, maybe 10 days ago, you were doing something different. But over time, you're healing. It's like, oh, I don't have to respond in that way. I don't have to engage with anyone's foolery. I can step back and say, I will not be hit with that arrow. You won't get me again. That's what real healing is. That's the reality of all.
Yes. All of that.
So believe it or not, we're barking up the 1 hour tree. Okay.
Look at us.
We're barking up the 1 hour tree, and it's been such an amazing episode. I want to give us all a chance to really give a wrap up and make sure that we're, letting Mona, we're gonna have you go last because you can mention next week's episode or our next episode in 2 weeks. We just want to give a nice wrap up. This is what we're doing, right? We did our first episode and it's so good and it's so nice and it's just it's just healing. It's healing, talking about healing, right? When you stay in those healing circles. So Lakeisha, what you got to say? Wrap us up. Give the people a little something, something.
I mean, I feel like so much has been said that it's really not much to add or take away. Thank you to our viewers, listeners, people that have joined us on this journey. I'm just in a spirit of gratitude. That's just me, my personality. And yeah, join us next time. Tune in, because this is something that we are doing together. So thank you, listeners. Thank you, ladies, my sisters. So that's it.
Yeah. It's real life, and so much has been said that it's like, yeah, what do we add? It's just like, take your time on your journey. I started a mindfulness life coaching company called Selah Mindset. It's Selah. It's take a time, take your contemplative moment. You've heard all this stuff happen, all these things went on. Take your moment to pause and reflect, and don't rush through your emotions and feelings, because they're always going to come back and harass you. Don't you want to stop the harassment? Don't you want to stop your feelings from stalking you, saying, please acknowledge me, please release me, please, please? Don't you want to stop that? To have them not harass you anymore. You don't need any more stalkers, right? Allow your feelings and emotions to come up. Take your deep breaths, take your Selah, take your rest, so you can have enough energy to go on, and stop jumping into people's fights that have no business with you in them, right? Save your energy, conserve your space, and keep walking one day at a time. One day at a time. Keep coming back. Keep walking one step at a time on your journey of healing. We're here with you, and we're courageously doing it too. It's not like we've arrived. Every single moment we are taking a step on our healing journey, and it takes courage, it takes patience, and it takes a lot of love. And so I appreciate you ladies, for being here. Mona, take us home.
Hey. Well, I want to say to everyone that when it comes to healing, the old you and the new you are always going to be in battle with each other. So always remember that the situations are going to come up where the old you would act this way, but the new you was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And it's just a test to see, is the old you really going to be dead and gone, and you working on the new. So I just want to give that. So I always, and I tell that to my children, a test is always going to come to prove how would you handle a situation different. And it's the same way with healing. And so I just want to thank everybody for this opportunity that we get to speak and share our life story, and we open up to you guys and share our journeys and everything. So our next episode is going to be in honor of Domestic Violence Month, with me being a domestic violence survivor. So I will talk about I'll share my journey of domestic violence, and just different types of abuse through healing, healing through those abuse. So that'll be our next episodes that we go through, and it's going to be a great one. It is.
It's going to be a great one. The fact that you could just call yourself a survivor. We're not having a memorial for you. Your picture isn't on a t-shirt, on a flyer. You survived. That is the motivation that we need. That is how we make this more than a hashtag, that you survived. And every time someone sees a post, they know that you have lived through that. So I know I'm excited. I know we're all excited about that episode and what we have to contribute. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to episode 1. Woo, woo, woo. Of many more things to come. We appreciate you. Remember, don't resist the isolation, because it leads to your healing, and it's a journey, and we're here with you, right? Share this with someone you think needs it. Just send a little DM, drop it. Oh, I think you might like this, because we're all healing. We're all here. You're not by yourself. Until we see you next time, we're gonna have a little after chat, after party. Sorry, you guys can't come to that, but it's just gonna be us. But we'll see you on our next episode. Okay, peace. Stay healed.